Welcome, guys, to the I Love Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Wright. Today, we are welcomed with Bobby Steveson, formerly known as Damon Kemp, and his music partner. How we doing, guys?
Doing great. What up?
Excited to be
What's up,
here.
man? Happy to be here.
Something we've been working on for a while, guys. So I'm excited to talk about your post wrestling career and maybe dabble into a little bit of wrestling stuff. Um, you're joining the country music scene. What's that like? What came in that decision?
All right, so my guy Ethan, kind of said something like we've been talking about for a while. I'm gonna probably back in like, what do you think? Even 2016, 2017,
Yeah,
18?
I think summer of 2016 is when we linked up. Actually at Jay Robinson camps, right?
Yeah, we met. So Ethan is a former amateur wrestler himself, and we
Okay.
met at a Jay Robinson camps. To people that know wrestling would know Jay, and the intensive camps he would do all over the country, and that's how me and Ethan linked up. Through different crazy experiences. He was in the van that flipped over. It was pretty funny, but not funny now, but it wasn't funny at the time.
No, that's a
Uh,
story and a half in itself.
yeah. So him and I go way back. So when it comes to like country music stuff, like when I was with the WWE, we couldn't really do anything because I was so tied up with time and stuff like that. So now that we finally, I'm done with that and I got some free time. Him and I are going to take that and run with it and see how far it goes. We got some We got a project coming out and a few more in the works that we're excited to put out. And got a show coming up and right here real soon. But yeah, that's where we're kind of rolling with it.
So like what's your like process or how do you go about getting discovered in like the music industry?
Ethan, what you got?
Um, well, I think what Bobby and I talk a lot about is build it and they will come, you know. I think the principles that we learn in the sport of wrestling are very easily applied into music where maybe people aren't as accustomed to the day-to-day grind and rising up from the ranks of competitive combat athletics. But I think directly we're trying to get a very marketable product in the song that we're putting out that's got a lot of potential. Shout out to Brady Saxman, platinum producer at Saxman Studios in Nashville, Tennessee, where we cut this song. Uh, but just using the resources and work ethic that we have to collaborate and create content that's engaging for everybody and beyond. I mean, but also leveraging our wrestling network and the people that know us through the sport of wrestling to kind of build. And I mean, Wrestling's excited about what we're doing. Uh, Bobby couldn't make the trip to Philadelphia as an artist. He's going as a spectator, but I'll be singing the national anthem at the Division I national championships in Philadelphia next week, and I'm really looking forward to that. And there's not a lot of former wrestlers that are doing what Bobby and I are doing. So I think it's a special thing.
Hmm.
Who are your guys' like biggest influences in country music and how do they shape your guys' style?
Mine, I'd say Morgan Wallen,
Okay.
Morgan Wallen, and like shape and style wise, it's just I think a lot of people think of country, they think of like guy wearing boots, jeans, flannels, um, just being the typical country looking dude. So like when I kind of like even recently with Morgan Wallen, he's kind of started to change his look on stage. He started to wear like like Jordans and just a different look, but he's also singing about great stuff too. So it's kind of cool to see someone kind of like step outside the box and not like look like everyone else, that's doing the same thing. So I'd say Morgan Wallen and a little bit of Jelly Roll. And then Jelly Roll, to try to model off of him, is just like how he keeps everything 100%. When he's out there, keeps it real. He doesn't put on a fake face. He keeps it 100 in front of thousands of people. So it's like something I can like try to model off just to be my full authentic self when I'm out there.
Okay. What about you, Ethan?
Well, I think Bobby hit it very well. Um, Stylistically, something Bobby and I are prioritizing is the originality of our songwriting too. Where you'll hear a lot of stories about GTB, girls, trucks, and beer. You know, and even when we're in a co-write, Bobby does a great job of prioritizing. Hey, this lyric or this phrase might be a little cliche. Like, how can we mix it up to be true to ourselves and what we want to tell, the story we want to tell, but also share it in a way that's engaging and relatable to the masses. But I mean, like Bobby said, I think the consumer people are smart and they can sense if somebody's not being authentic. So I think as long as we're working hard and being true to who we are, and I mean, it's certainly a blessing that we're good friends. That makes the collaboration a no brainer. But good things will happen if we just keep following the path that we're on.
Definitely. Bobby, you brought up Jelly Roll. I know, like going through your social medias and stuff, you've had the opportunity to meet him. Is he aware of like your country music journey, and have you got to discuss that at all with him?
So like I posted a picture about it. I did another podcast and I mentioned music. This is when this song was supposed to come out, you know, months ago probably. But we hit an
Yeah,
obstacle
like
with that.
last summer.
Yeah, like last summer it was supposed to be out. So like I want to say Ethan and I were like we lost some good time. We should definitely be doing some other things right now. But yeah, I guess it is what it is, and we just gotta do what we gotta do. But when it comes to like meeting Jelly Roll, I met him. I met him like 3 years ago, and I just went out on a limb. I think that's when he dropped "Son of a Sinner."
Okay.
I just went out on a limb, and I just sent him a DM. Wasn't expecting him to hit me back, and then he hits me back, and he gives me his phone number, and then he has me come out to the show, and I go to the show like an hour before, and he comes in, he sits there, and I bring my friends with and stuff. And he just comes, sits down, and just talks to me like I'm a normal person. Like he really had no business being that nice to me. Being that nice to a stranger, a guy he just met through a message on Instagram. So like with that interaction right there, and like you see all the podcasts and how he talks when he's on stage, talking about God making the change, being his fully authentic self. This is therapeutic music, and you with a guy like that, you can easily, feel the love with him. When you got to meet him, like it's real genuine. And then also a guy like that, you see people on stage, or like people in life just talking about, oh yeah, I love God, love this, love that, but then they're living like total different lifestyle.
Yeah.
So like that one in that interaction right there, I was like, all right, this guy, he keeps it real, and then that was pretty cool just to like build that relationship with him. So like I got pretty cool with his band and his manager. So like every time they're in town for a show, they always hook us up and then take care of us when we get to go, which is like, it says a lot about his crew too, because like they have no business. Like how great of an artist he is. He's like one of the biggest out right now. So like he doesn't have to be nice to a guy like me. I'm just like everyone else. But he does, which is like kind of crazy. I'm like, okay, cool. So like we're slowly building that relationship every time I get a chance to see him. But with this song coming out here real soon, I might have to be like one of those little kids on the street corner. Hey, you want to hear my mixtape type thing? So,
Except this isn't gonna be some kids mixtape from the corner. This is
yeah,
I mean, I've mentioned Grady Saxman twice now, but the opportunity that Bobby and I had to work with Grady, and Bobby's relationship with Jelly Roll and others, and the artists that I've opened for myself. I mean, we're blessed.
What are some of the artists you've been able to work for or open for?
Um, I had a pretty good 2024. I'm 29 months into pursuing music full time, and I've got miles to go, but miles from where I was. And again, that's kind of the wrestler mentality. But I've opened for, I mean, just to name a few, Zach Top, Travis Tritt, Sarah Evans, Mitchell Tenpenny, Braxton Keith, Austin Williams, Hayden Kaufman. And it's, I mean, again, it's an honor, really, anytime you get a chance to work with somebody that is so successful in their craft, you know, it's an honor. But Bobby and I are excited for the opening acts that we should have coming down the pipe as well.
Okay. Can you guys kind of describe to me what the songwriting process looks like for you guys?
Bobby, you want to take lead on that?
Songwriting. So yeah, so like Ethan has a lot more connections with in the music industry right now when it comes to like people that want to songwrite. So like what we've been doing these past few weeks, Ethan has his friends and I had a guy that jumped on with us too. What we would do was just jump on a FaceTime call. We kind of like throw out a reference song that we kind of like, just so everyone can like understand what we're talking about. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So like, oh yeah, we like how this song kind of goes, but let's completely make it our how we would do it. But like this is just something like for everyone to brainstorm off of, and then it just comes down to just everyone throwing out the ideas out there, and then just like playing with it, playing with chords and just trying to find the melody. But like I said, like with Ethan touched on, like my big thing is just like trying to be different, because like the one thing that really stood out to me when Ethan and I were in Nashville like 2 months ago. And I was like, I told him, because what was the thing you did, Ethan? You were on stage. What do they call those? Open mic.
Writers round.
Yeah.
No, not an open mic. A writers round.
Yeah.
So just for quick reference, you'll get 3 or 4 artists that are all sitting in a row, and like a round robin wrestling tournament. The first artist will sing an original song, then the second, then the third, then the fourth, and then it goes back to the first one, second, third, fourth. And you might play that for an hour or so everybody could get 3 to 4 songs. But please keep going, Bobby, with the songwriting reference.
Yeah. So like he was doing that, and I told him after. So like with what we talked about, with not wanting to be like cliche or just being like everyone else. And I told Ethan after I was like, damn, everyone looks the same. You know, everyone's got the jeans on, everyone has their boots on, everyone's got like I said, the flannel, a hat, long hair, beard, and they all kind
Fortunately,
of
I can't grow anything, so I'm
yeah,
like,
I'm with
I
you.
stick it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We should start a club, Justin. But I was able
Definitely,
to, at
definitely.
minimum,
yeah,
songwriting aside, I was able to stand out in that regard.
yeah. And then I told him like I just said, everyone looks the same. That you walk around Nashville, and then everyone looks the same. And now it's just like if everyone already looks the same and everyone's already singing the same stuff, I'm like no one's gonna stand out. Like we gotta find our niche to stand out. So like when every time we're in these songwriting sessions, like how Ethan touched on, I was like, let's try to stay away from like my girl, my truck, my dog died, grandma's front door, back door, front porch. Stay away from stuff like that, or like just put like something real unique twist on it. So like when every time we talk to these people that jump in, everyone just throws their 2 cents in. Then if it flows, it flows. If not, it's like a safe zone. No one judges. Just throwing out ideas out there because like a dumb idea you throw out there might be something that's pretty cool. That might fit. So like we would just jump on these calls and like for like 2 hours. We try not to beat a dead horse. If no one's talking, we're like, all right, we're done. We're done with
Yeah,
that.
and there's some people, like Nashville is a smorgasbord of people that are very talented, pursuing the same thing. you know? And so sometimes you'll hop in a write and you'll just like immediately click with, like Bobby and I just finished writing a song with 2 friends of mine, Josh Cockrum and Jax Jordaning. Uh, and when we hop on, everybody's like, I mean, and this was the first time Bobby had joined the write, but when Bobby hops in with with me and these guys, it's like he had been there for all of them. Like everybody clicked. So when you find your circle, it's smooth sailing, you know, but there is, and it's not to discredit the other artists like that maybe we didn't initially click with. Like they they have their own circuits, you know what I mean? People that they flow with. But once you find your little niche, it's I mean, look at Morgan Wallen and Hardy and Ernest and Ashley Gorley, who's a phenomenal songwriter. I mean, all those guys just I mean, it's effortless to write a song when it's like telling a story, It's effortless to write a song when you're with people that are right on track with what you're doing.
Do you guys prefer to like write about real life events or real life stories, or how do y'all go about deciding what to write about, whether it's real or maybe exaggerated?
You got
I'll
you.
take this, Bob. Yeah. Um, Everybody's got kind of a different process, but I love, you know, neither Bobby nor I have had things smooth sailing in life, you know, like we've really, I won't get into the gloom and doom on this podcast, but neither one of us have just had the easy road. So I think there's something to be said about that. Uh, and I think speaking to originality and authenticity, you know, there's certain life experiences that most people endure, like losing a loved one or a breakup or something. But uh, the truth is so powerful. So everybody's got a different process with songwriting, but we usually start with like an idea or something that happened. Like the co-write that I was just referencing with Bobby and our other buddies. I got a text from my dad one night that was like, it might be cool to build a song around the idea 20 years left. And that kind of hit me really hard because what my father was referencing was like his own life. And if you just, I mean, he's almost 60. And if you look at just statistical averages, the average male lives to be 75, so you add 5 years to that, then boom, maybe he's got 20 years left. And we built a song around that idea. I always like to start with the lyrics. And then, because to me, that's what's most important, is a story that the lyrics can convey, and then using musical elements to enhance that story. But that's been our process so far. That's not to say that's the right way or wrong way, but it's working for us. Although we are open to other creative processes as well.
Okay. Uh, what would you guys say is like your greatest strengths as musicians or singers?
I'd say our friendship, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
the show that we're referencing on St. Louis, Missouri on April 11th. I think people are going to really see like, oh, these aren't just two guys. These aren't just two guys. These aren't just two guys that work together. These are guys that, can clown with each other and doing something really special together. I mean, my wife and you know, Bobby's long-term girlfriend, they say if you were to just read our text thread or you were to listen to us talk when we're play, playing MLB The Show or something on PS5, that you'd be like, man, these guys like can't stand each other. But I think I mean, and guy culture a lot, especially in wrestling, man. I mean, wrestling's a brutal sport,
Yes.
and and you're always, you know, locker room chumming with each other or picking on somebody, and everybody kind of gets their turn. But uh, yeah, I don't know. But on the same note, like Bobby and I are typical wrestlers in the sense that we can play around with each other like that and give each other a hard time, but nobody from the outside can, and that's
Mm.
straight wrestling, man. Nobody on the
Mm.
outside like can start messing with Bobby or, that wouldn't, that's unacceptable. But that's what I think it is, man. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
we're not faking that we're boys, we've seen each other through a lot. And I
Mm.
think that's, you know, easily marketable, right? Because it's like engaging. So
You got anything to add, Bobby?
Yeah, no, it's just so April 11th should be real fun. But yeah, no, it's just being able to like, because like I want to say Ethan and I kind of funny. Our love language is like just talking
Listen,
shit.
listen to this dude getting all sentimental now, talking about love languages.
Our love language is like talking crap,
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause, like if a lot of people like from the outside would hear us how we talk to one another, there'll probably be like, you guys definitely should be working together. But that's just how we talk to one another. And then, but we know what it is at the end of the day. We got each other's backs, through whatever.
Yeah.
But I
Oh,
think
through
that's what,
whatever.
yeah, I think that's what makes it more fun because like we're not afraid to like we don't walk on glass around each other. No,
No,
we get after it.
no, we
Like
don't.
if I think that's what makes it fun because like normally if you work with someone, you got to be careful what you say or careful about this, careful about that. I'm like
Yeah.
there's no like walls or anything we got to be like, oh, I can't say this around him, he might get offended. We just like go after it and then just and do what we got to do. But it makes it a lot more fun when you get to be around someone that has kind of went through like the same ups and downs as you, but then they also want to like they have the same vision of like wanting to be on that stage in front of 20 to 60,000 people. But then we're also not afraid to like with the
100,000.
yeah with the wrestling mentality of like, all right, we got to do it, and then because like the wrestling people that wrestle, there's a famous quote: once you've wrestled, everything else in life is easy. And like now that I've gotten older, I'm sure Ethan too, it's like everyone complains about having to like wake up at like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. to go to work, and then oh, I'm hungry. I can't do this because I haven't had dinner. La 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 la. But then, like people that wrestled, this is like they just like push through it because we've already been through those ups and downs. But I think we benefit off each other a lot in a lot of great ways, and it's going to be a great thing. Once people finally start to see what we can do and stuff like that, and get the ball rolling, and just being able to show everyone our authentic self.
Okay.
And what's unique too is, Bobby's strong in areas that I'm weak, and I'm strong in areas that Bobby's weak. So we can like really fill the gaps with each other too. You know,
Hmm.
even like just let's talk just specifically singing. Like I mean, I'm sure anybody that's listening to our pod right now, Justin is like, man, this dude's got a high raspy voice. You know, and Bobby's voice is stronger in the lower register. So when they, you want to name drop? Can we name drop the song, Bobby, or should we keep that close to the vest?
Nah, screw it, drop it.
Song is called that we're releasing on Memorial Day weekend is called Midwest Girls. But even just the fact that we complement each other in our vocal registry, you know, Bobby can put some low end notes that I couldn't touch. And inversely, I can go up a little bit in areas that, I mean, Bobby's got a sneaky, like big range though. I mean, even the vocal producer we had in the studio with us was like, oh, damn, like you're darn. I don't know what I can and can't say, but your high end register is like not what I would have expected. But I mean, there's nothing like chasing something like this with your friends. There's not. And when you compliment each other, it just makes it all that much better.
Mm.
You guys name dropped the song. What's the next project after that song, and is there an album coming? Like, what do we have to expect after said release?
But he's got to
Uh,
stay tuned.
yeah, stay
Pre-save that
tuned.
first record and pre-save that first record and put it on repeat. And then we'll
Yeah.
talk about the exciting things we've got close to the vest coming down the
Hmm.
pipe. But pre-save that song and play it for everybody and their grandma.
Yeah, and cue it up at your local bar too. Put that on your DJ's spin
Put on the
list.
DJ list.
Yeah,
Local
gotcha.
pontoon, local wrestling tournament. All these wrestling tournaments now have you know, music playing in the background, whether it's kids or high school or, collegiate, whatever. So the song, there's no explicit words in the song. it's just a fun story. So put it on there.
Okay. Where do you guys see yourselves like 5 years from now, long term wise, as country artists?
Can daydream headlining.
Selling out US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri, world tour.
Mm,
That's where I
Okay.
see us.
yeah,
Bringing
same.
bringing people up, bringing people up that I mean, Bobby and I talk about this too, that one of the most appealing things to me is that, when we become ultra successful is, you know, giving our dads the opportunity to work security for us, or, our best friends that aren't pursuing music, give them the opportunity to, have a job and a way of life that, maybe they don't have right now. We've got a lot of support from I think both Bobby and I have very small circles,
Mm.
which is important. But I mean, what do you see our small circles doing in 5 years from now, Bob?
Yeah, I hire everyone. Yeah, just like because like you want good people around you. Like these are people that you've known for like 20 plus years.
Yep.
So it's just like might as well have someone good around you that you can trust and that everyone has your best interest too.
Yep.
So that's where I see it.
Okay. Um, we're going to form into the wrestling part of the podcast now. Um, guys, were you guys fans of pro wrestling growing up at all, or was it something that was brought to you later on?
Growing up, I knew everyone.
Okay.
Well, I knew like the stars that were being marketed, but like I never made it a thing to like sit and watch every show. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Until I got into the WWE, then I'd watch every show because I thought it was pretty important to know everyone's moveset and like what was going on because like it is your job, you know. Like most people don't do that, which is kind of weird, but But I always made it a thing, especially when I was with WWE. I'd watch every show. I didn't miss a show, the whole time I was here because like it was just I just felt like it was my duty to do so, and it's like plus it makes things easier too because like you go wrestle someone and you already know their move set, so you kind of play off their move set and add it into like the match and stuff like that. Whereas just like not knowing anything about the guy and the guy's a normal TV talent, and then you're asking him, especially if you go up to like the main roster, like the few times I got to wrestle Shelton Benjamin and Tyler Bate, and I knew their move sets, so it just made the match so easy. And like plus like when you go up there and like they're seen as like the big leads. Like you want to be the young guy that knows everyone's stuff and then shows everyone that you're actually watching the product versus just collecting a paycheck and showing up on Tuesday, or whenever you show up. So I always made that like a real important thing. But as far as growing up, I didn't really watch it because like I was doing amateur wrestling, and it's just different. But once it was my job, I made it a job to watch. But yeah.
Okay. Ethan, did you watch pro wrestling at all growing up?
This will kind of sum it up. It's when I was a kid, I had like my uncle's Super Nintendo.
Mhm.
So I played or WWF 94 and 95 on the Super Nintendo when I was like 10 years old. And then when Bobby gets signed to the WWE and he's in the video game, the next video game I bought aside from 1994, 95 was WWE 2K whatever, 20 whatever. And I bought because he was in it, I bought the legendary version or what, you know what I mean? So, um, I mean, I paid attention to it as a kid. Obviously, I was an amateur wrestler, so that was my priority. But I know Jake the Snake and The Undertaker and Hulk Hogan. Then there's a gap in my knowledge. And then I know Diamond Mine and, you know,
Okay.
guys, Bobby and I mean, guys that are relevant now, but I'd be lying if I said I was an avid. I mean, I always thought it was cool. but it was just always kind of in my peripheral, what was going on in professional wrestling.
What got you guys into amateur wrestling?
Parents born
Yeah.
into it.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
No,
quite literally, actually.
no
My fa-
choice but to do it.
So was it like as soon as you could walk, you was wrestling kind of thing?
Like we were both probably in the practice rooms in diapers, probably.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
my dad was my coach, and then Ethan's dad
Yeah.
wrestled at the University of Iowa.
Yeah. My dad wrestled for Gable, you know. Um, that name obviously is very prevalent throughout the sport of wrestling. Um, but my dad was also a high school coach, and now he's a Division II coach in St. Louis, Missouri at Maryville University. Um, but I can't remember, literally, I'm sure Bobby's the same way. I can't remember a time in my life when, like, I only remember my life with wrestling, you know?
Mm.
Okay. But Bobby, what was it like for you, in high school winning state championships and other national titles?
And it felt like it was just part of the job.
Okay.
It's something that you do, gotta do. Because like everyone's end goal, that takes wrestling serious in high school is to wrestle at the next level and like to use your athletic abilities to like get through school without having any debt. Because like people that were wrestling, they come from areas that don't have much, or they come from families that don't have much.
Yeah.
So you don't really have a choice. It's either you're gonna be all in on something and use it to get your degree, you know, or you're gonna bounce around, play different sports that and don't take anything serious, and then you don't you don't make it out of your hometown, and you're stuck there, and then God knows what you're doing there versus like taking something serious. But it was one of those things. It was like an opportunity for a way out. I wouldn't say I grew up in the bad area. I think no, like our parents took great care of us. But like obviously for me, going to school because I'm smart wasn't going to be a thing. It wasn't going to be a thing. It was going to be athletic. So like I knew I had to lock in with the wrestling. Like if I wanted to like go to school, I had to, you know, win all those state championships and go to the national tournaments and win those for an opportunity to like make it out. Because if I didn't wrestle, I'd probably be stuck in Indiana still. And like the area, it's just like people don't get out. They live there the whole life, and they don't see anything, they don't do anything. So it was like a lot of doors open up like once you start winning those tournaments and stuff like that. Because like I always tell kids, because I coach too. Like a lot of kids, they don't want to put the hard work in, but then they want the results. It doesn't work like that. All right. So then it's just like,
Doesn't work like that in anything,
yeah,
music included, I mean, life.
yeah. And I tell them that I was like, if you want to make a change or you want to start winning or you're tired of losing, you got to change some things. If you want to wrestle a certain way, because like a lot of them will talk about, oh, I want to wrestle like this guy or I want to wrestle like this guy. And I'm like, well, do you think that guy is wrestling like, you think that guy is given 25% in practice in order to wrestle like that and these national tournaments and stuff like that? I'm like, no, they do it year round. They do the extra too, but it's also like trying to get, a lot of them don't have parents like Ethan or I had to put a foot up their ass, to, like get going and like do things, that you don't want to do, but like now that we're older, we're like, all right, that paid off. So it's more
Yeah,
so just like trying to get like a community of people to like buy in on the kids and stuff.
Okay.
it's amazing to me how much smarter my dad got between the time that I was 15 and the time that I was 25. That's a joke that I tell. It's like, well, really, he didn't get any smarter. It's just I started listening to what he had to say, and it started making sense. So, I mean, just echoing what Bobby said. I'm grateful our parents were involved in molding us into quality young men.
Bobby, what was your reaction when you got accepted into the University of Minnesota?
I was excited, and it was
Okay.
like the time it was I committed in like 2015 or 14, or yeah, 2014 I think. But at the time, like the Gophers, they just got second at the national tournament. And like a few years before that, they were always like top three and stuff like that. But then once I got there, a lot of people graduated and stuff like that, and it was just a small rebuild. But no, it was good. It was obviously it was good to go to school and not have to like have any debt and anything like that, and like to be around like good kids and like being around people that wanted to win too, and a coaching staff that wanted to win. So it was kind of cool too, because like when I was in Indiana, and you get good wrestlers there in Indiana. They got some good guys. So like some cultures, like at least the one I was at, you know, they a lot of them didn't want to win as bad as I wanted to, or wrestling wasn't their first sport like it was for me. So it was kind of cool to be in college and like go because like when I was in Indiana, then I went to Apple Valley, and then that was like a big jump because like that's when everyone like their first sport was pretty much wrestling, and everyone wanted to win, and then so that was pretty cool too. But like when going to Minnesota, it was great to be around a bunch of athletes, like especially like going to high school in Minnesota. You start to see who's good in the high school area, like who's legit, and like you just see them, and you only see them like once or twice a year at the state tournament and stuff like that, and then you're like teammates with them, so it's like okay, cool, this guy wants to work just as hard as me, and then we kind of build off each other. But no, it was great getting to go to school and do all that fun stuff.
Okay. How did you find out that WWE was interested in signing you? And what was like kind of that reaction once you got signed?
Um, I think Paul Heyman was our guy.
Okay.
He invited us. I think the first time we went, it was a house show. We went to a house show, and he invited us out, and we all talked and stuff like that. And then second time he invited us out, it was Raw, and we went, and then we all hung out, got to do the backstage with Triple H and everyone like that, and that was pretty cool. And at the time, I was still in school, so I wasn't really getting a look because I think I had like a year and a half of school left, and it was during COVID. COVID was coming up, and then I messaged him. I was like, hey, this is something I want to do. He's like, well, graduate school and we'll talk. Graduated school. I got a tryout. I had to wait a little longer than expected due to COVID. And then my tryout was, I just showed up for like a week and I just did everything everyone else did to the best of my ability, with with not having that much experience. I remember showing up, Robbie Brookside, he's one of my favorite coaches there at the Performance Center. He was real good. Like I was standing on the outside and I asked them because everyone was doing their training and stuff like that, and I was just a new kid. And like me, I was hungry because I wanted to, show what I can do, show what somewhat athletic ability I have, versus standing on the outside of the ring. And I was like, "Yo, do you mind if I get in there and do something?" I'm trying to get this job. I really want this job, and I want to showcase. And he was like, "Yeah." He would always say "lad" because he's from the UK. He's like, "Yeah, lad, get in there." And he would just have me do a bunch of drills, running, flips, and forward rolls and all that other stuff. So I did that for a week, and it was fun. It was fun. Then when I finally got signed, I was like, it was the start of something that was a pretty good time in life. I really enjoyed it. So like then got signed and had to pack the car up, and we just drove down to Florida.
Do you think your prior experience like helped you develop at all in the PC?
Oh
Like,
yeah, I already knew how to. I already knew how to roll. I already knew how to pick someone up, and I knew how to like guide someone. Whether if I can easily guide anyone through any position just from like the amateur background that I have, and I'm sure Ethan can do the same thing. Just like grab someone and make them move the way you want them to move. Even though they don't know how to move, because like a lot of people they were bringing in were like basketball players, volleyball players, some football, which like some of them did know how to roll, but like when it came to like respecting other people's bodies, like taking care of them, putting them down right, and like being able to move them. yeah, the amateur background that I had that like jumped me, ahead of a lot of people.
How was or what was going through your mind when you actually got to make your debut?
Oh, so like my first match, it was on 205 Live against Andre Chase.
Andre Chase, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So like I got the call for that on like Monday night. It was funny too because like that whole Monday, I was getting tattooed on my arm. I was getting tattoos because I wasn't planning on wrestling. But like here's like the thing what they would do with like 205 Live and like what they call it level up now is like they wouldn't contact people until like 10 o'clock at night on Monday the night before. So it's like you sometimes wake up to a text, hey, it'd be like, hey, you have a match today, so and so time versus this guy, this guy. And that's how you would find out you'd wrestle. So like there was no schedule unless you were on like NXT TV. Like then they would kind of give you like the Monday morning of like you would have an idea you're on TV. So I was like getting tattooed and I'm like my whole arm getting tatted. And they texted me like, "Hey, you got a match tomorrow against Andre Chase." And I was like, I was excited, but I was also scared because like I was like, I just got fresh tattoos, and now we're gonna roll around in the ring and get all sweaty, and then like I'm not trying to have like a staph infection. But no, it was it was good. Like I didn't. My first gear was garbage because like it was one of those things that no one really helps you out. You like kind of got to figure it out yourself. So like I didn't have boots, but I was going for a certain look, and then the gear lady that made my gear, it looked like crap, and I was like, this isn't what we talked about, and then so I had to rock with it anyways, but it was good. Chase, he was a good leader. He helped put the match together, and then like even then, like when I first got to the PC, my first match, I had a match like 3 weeks in. And so like I was kind of catching along pretty quick, and then so I got there in, like late August, first like September, and then I had a TV match like a month and a half in. So I was catching on pretty good, but yeah, no, it was all good stuff, man. It was fun. I was definitely nervous, but it was one of those things like where you're still trying to figure out who you are without also like trying to like memorize a match, you know. Only being
Yeah.
a month and a half in, then you get put on a TV match, and you're still trying to figure out who you are. You don't know who you are, and then you're trying to memorize this match because you don't want to mess up because you got the bosses watching. And it's just like it was a lot.
How did you going to NXT UK like come about, and what was that experience like working with Wolfgang and Noam Dar and guys like that?
Um, no, it was good. It was good. I had no idea I was actually going to the UK, and I barely knew that they had a show because like their show would air like every like 6 weeks or something because they would film like back to back to back. So then I never really watched it, but I would just see the clips on like Twitter and stuff. And then getting to go there, it was cool because like I got to travel the world for amateur wrestling. Now it's like I get to travel the world for pro wrestling, and I've only been doing it at the time for like 5 months, 6 months. Now I was like, man, I get to I'm traveling for wrestling and I don't have to pay for anything. I'm like, and I'm getting paid too. I'm like, that's kind of cool. And then so getting to work with those guys, they were all really great. Like I was still going through the learning curve because like I didn't like I said they tape all their matches and like they tape everything in like 2 or 3 days. And like and they're just running matches, match after match after match being filmed. And like just one day I had a match, I probably hit my head a little bit too hard. I got clotheslined, I got rocked pretty good. But and then I had to do another match right after. And I'm like, can I, take the soft way out and say my head hurts, or just go do this match. And then so then yeah, I did 2 matches in a day, then another day I did another match, but like getting to work with like Wolfgang and Noam Dar and like Shaw Samuels, it was all good. They all helped me out a lot, especially when it came to like I did a match and like the next episode was starting and I had to be ready in like 5 more matches. I was only 5 months in, so I didn't know what I was doing. And I was going to act like I knew what I was going doing too. Like I would hold my own for sure. But like, I'm not going to be like, those guys been wrestling for like 15, 20 years. I'm like, you guys know what you're doing. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And then so it was like that was kind of like a cool thing to like do a match, like immediately have to like go back out there again, still sweating from the match before to do another one. It was kind of exciting, but also like kind of nerve wracking in a way. Like I said, you got people watching that matter, boss wise, and you don't want to do the show a disservice or make yourself look like an idiot and end up on Botchmania, you know. So, but no, it was all good, man. It was fun. It was a good time. It was definitely got to meet some new people, and everyone was pretty cool.
When did you find out that you'd be joining Diamond Mine? And like, how did you feel about being part of a new stable or a new faction?
Everything was like last minute,
Okay.
so it was kind of weird. They just set it up and they keep everything real tucked under the rug, so you don't know anything until you show up. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna join," because like they did like an angle with like the creeds because they were baby faces. They did a thing where like they would get so close to winning, and then they would all something would always happen when they would lose. And then Roderick was like kind of like being the crazy dude at the time, like you guys need to win. He's like, all right, if you guys aren't gonna win, we're gonna bring this guy, and like, all right, Damon Kemp, you're gonna help them win. And then that was the story of like me coming in and training them, and then like a few months later, like not even a month, yeah, a few weeks later, they won the tag titles. And that was kind of like the story of that, and kind of getting to run with it. But like I knew those guys, before we even started in pro wrestling. I actually wrestled Drew Brutus. I wrestled him at the collegiate tournament like a few years back. I knew Jacob, a few years back, just from like the amateur wrestling community. So we already knew one another. Even getting into it, which was kind of even better. But yeah, getting to work with those guys, it was pretty cool. We all clicked, and it was good stuff.
Do you know why they decided to split you guys up so quickly?
Yeah, and it was
No.
crazy too because we had a great thing going. But like, I wasn't supposed to wrestle. To be honest, I wasn't supposed to wrestle in that pay-per-view match. It was supposed to be Roderick Strong. Like he was
Okay.
going to do the turn. So everything I did, he was supposed to do. Because like if you go back and watch everything in those matches, were because of Roderick Strong was planting the seeds. And I guess he was dealing with like a neck injury. He had to get like something done with his neck, and they're like, he's not going to do it. We're going to have Damon do the turn. So, like, actually, to be honest, if anything, I should still be in the WWE on Raw right now. If, you know, someone's neck wasn't hurting and stuff like that. But it's just like kind of crazy too, like how much, one little thing can like change the trajectory of everything, you know?
Did Roddy ever let you guys know that he was leaving WWE or anything like that, or did he just kind of walk out the door?
Yeah, no, yeah, he let us know. I just, I think it just came to other things that he probably wanted more of, but I was still new, so I didn't want to like dive into it too much with him or overstep any boundaries and stuff. But we all knew that when his contract was up and that he wasn't planning on, you know, resigning and whatnot.
How did you feel whenever they kind of just threw you into another group in the no quarter catch crew?
I think it was fine. Um, like I said, it was just like random. You just show up and you just pop in and you just do the thing. I wish there could have been a little bit more play on that. Same thing with the Diamond Mine thing because I didn't really get an opportunity to like show some babyface stuff, like to get built up as a singles in the babyface. Because like the story was supposed to be like me helping the Creeds get the tag titles, and then somewhere along the lines, this changed to me being like the weak sister of the group. I was like, okay, the story kind of like completely changed, but I guess. Um, but then yeah, joining the No Quarter Catch crew, it was pretty much the same people, the same group, pretty much the same style, like the Creeds. They do a lot more acrobatics and like freak freak show stuff. But then like look at Charlie Dempsey and then Tavion Heights. We all well me and Tavion we have like legit backgrounds in wrestling. Charlie he just does whatever the catch wrestling is, whatever. And so like it was just like the same group. It was literally the same group, but just different people. And then Miles, he has his own style too. You know, And so me and Miles we're real close, but it was like the same thing. It was just like nothing really changed. It was just like a different people. It was like Diamond Mine 2.0, and I was trying to make the emphasis of like, can we not like shoot our promos, in a wrestling ring or on a wrestling mat because that's how Diamond Mine used to do all their stuff. And then it just slowly just turned into that's what we were doing, and I was like, okay, this is just Diamond Mine 2.0. But yeah,
Was that like Vince and like Pritchard thing, or like who was running creative for NXT at that time?
oh, who runs creative?
Yeah,
Oh,
like who was
that's
doing
like
the creative stuff?
oh no, that's we don't deal with like Pritchard. Pritchard he does like the I'm pretty sure
Okay,
he just does like the Raw and SmackDown. But no, it was like Sean and like
okay,
I think Russo too. Like that's like that they were the creative people on the show for
okay.
that.
Was it my timeline might be a little messed up? You was part of NXT 2.0 though, right?
Yeah.
When they was saying that Vince was involved in things like that, was that something that took place?
I don't really like I said, I didn't really dig that deep into the politics with stuff like
You wasn't
that.
even worried about it?
No, I just show up and do my job.
It's probably better that way, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Hmm.
Um, something like that I thought was really interesting when I was doing the research was, the underground match as a concept is a really cool idea. And you kind
Hmm.
of brought it into NXT. How did that come about? Or was it just one of those other things that they kind of threw at the wall and said, hey, go
Yeah.
take this? Yeah.
Yeah. So like we were essentially just guinea pigs. That's what we were told. We were guinea pigs. Because like with
Okay.
Eddie's background and my background, we meshed good. So they're like, and I guess Raw Underground back then sucked because they just weren't having the right people do it. And then we were told like, hey, in a few weeks we're gonna take the ropes down. We weren't being told it was called Underground. They're just like, hey, we're gonna take the ropes down during this double taping and see how it goes. Like we're seeing you guys are the guinea pigs. If it goes good, and this is like where we were exactly where we were told. If it goes good, great. If not, then we just won't do it again. So obviously we killed it. After they've done plenty more with Eddie and a few others. Like it was kind of weird too. Just being able to do that, and then the match went great. We got great feedback and everything else, and obviously they just kept continue doing them. But like I only got to do one of them, which was like I was like, this is kind of up my alley. And then I don't really get into the wins and losses of it, but I was just like, if this is kind of my thing, and like I've been being on TV for like 2 years now, why wouldn't have me run with this a little more since it's right up my alley and stuff like that, instead of like, losing this one, then story's done. Losing three straight to Eddie Thorpe, story's done. I'm like, okay, whatever. It was just wrestling, but like again, I didn't get into the politics because it's all fake. you know, Everyone's picked to win and stuff like that. So I was like, it ain't that deep. As long as I'm still here and like, I'm still collecting, I didn't care what went on. But yeah,
Okay. What was your experience like working with Drew Gulak? And did you guys know that he would end up leaving?
no, we didn't know. But no, Drew helped me out a lot. He has a good background. Obviously, he's been wrestling for so long. So getting to plan matches with him, just listen to him and follow his lead. And obviously, we didn't know, what was going on with whenever supposedly went down.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just kept to myself. And then, yeah, when it went down, it was unfortunate, but like everything else, like the show's got to keep going. So,
Do you think him leaving had a big impact at all on the no quarter catch crew?
yeah, probably. Like I said before, like with me doing the pay-per-view match, when I wasn't supposed to. Like, granted, at the time it was great, but like also it also changed the trajectory of a lot of things. Maybe if he was still there, maybe things would change, would have been different. But like, you know, that's I guess it's how it works out.
Okay. Do you have a favorite match from your WWE career at all?
I did the underground match,
Okay.
underground and the Shelton Benjamin match. Why? Because Me and Eddie, we got great chemistry. We hang out on the outside and everything else. And Shelton Benjamin, hey, he wrestled at the University of Minnesota. I already knew him beforehand. And then, kind of getting it was cool to like wrestle like a legend in that sense of like, what he did with the Minnesota Gophers, and then what he did with WWE, how long he was there for, the standard he wrestled at, how great he was doing, and everything else. So it was kind of cool to like get in the ring with him too, and then having him look out for me and stuff like that.
Okay. What was your kind of reaction when, you found out that your contract wasn't going to be renewed?
Uh, I was a little confused to be honest. So like, I knew the date. I knew the date when it was up, and I'm sure they knew too. But it was getting a little weird because they had the guys go to TNA without me, and that show aired without me, and that was close to the time where my contract was being up. So like it was funny too because like right when my brother got let go, you know, that's when things started to change a little bit, as far as my character wise and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I know where this is going. Like, you don't gotta lie. I'm a straightforward person. Shoot it to me straight. Don't lie to my face. So once like my brother got let go, things started changing a little bit, and then they took the guys to TNA. I was like, my time's coming. I get it. But like, keep it a buck with me. What I'm saying? Because I talked to someone, like a few weeks before, you know, pretty much just lied right to my face. Oh, you're doing great. Fed me the BS. Oh, you're doing great. We're happy with what you're doing. You got a connection with the crowd. Blah 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 blah. You're doing great. Don't worry about it. We'll get you squared away. And then I was actually booked for TV that Tuesday when they killed me off. And I was supposed to talk to this one individual about being resigned, but just so happened, unfortunately, that one individual wasn't showing up, when I was there, of course. And then, I got a call that Monday. Keep in mind, I was booked for Tuesday. And they're like, oh, yeah, unfortunately, we're just going to let your contract expire. Here I was kind of excited to like see the phone call pop up because I was, oh, yeah, like I just had this great call, this great talk with someone. This phone call is meaning I'm staying here for another 3 years. And then they told me that news, and I was like kind of in shock, but I was also you know, like I felt like I was kind of respected by my peers, and like the coaches and stuff like that, because I was never one that caused like issues or like, start fights or argue about the wins and losses, because that happens a lot. People get butthurt about that stuff. And then just to be like lied to my face like that, I know, kind of took it the wrong way, kind of hurt. But then there's also like kind of like chuckle about it too, because like you are in the sports entertainment bit world, people now that I know that they'll lie to your face, and sleep like a baby at night too. So I was like, okay, I guess that's how it works here, or in entertainment and period. But yeah, I know it sucked. But yeah, man, we just keep going.
Could we ever see you back in WWE or just in a ring in general?
I mean, a WWE callback. Like I said before, I'd go back for sure. I don't think I burned any bridges there. Like I said, I never got any issues. Never back talk. I felt like, but it was just one of those things. Like once my brother got let go, I don't know if it was one of those things they wanted to stab the knife a little deeper in them and get me too, as like collateral damage. Because like I said, like if my wrestling was bad or my acting was bad or my character work was bad, I wouldn't have been on TV as much as I was, and I wouldn't be in the video game, 2 years in a row either, So like obviously I was doing my part thing. So like it's one of those things, just you just I, him and that, I've talked to the individual and the person about it too. He was like, yeah, I kind of knew it was going to happen. I was like, yeah, kind of knew too. Just the extra, let's stab the knife even deeper and let's get his brother too. So yeah, but like I said, like people, there a lot of people were in shock because like I said, I was on TV pretty much every week. And my wrestling was great. Acting was great, and I only been doing it for 3 years. So like a lot of people were there that were, on the TV consistent. Granted, some of them were doing it for 3 years, but then some of them also were doing it for like, 8, 10, 15 years before they started to hire in like the new class, like the NILs and like the college kids. So it is what it is. But as far as like any other ring, I've been thinking about it, but I've kind of been excited about this music stuff me and Ethan are doing. But like if the opportunity does come to like, you know, for like an AEW or TNA or even WWE again, I enjoyed it. There's no hard feelings. Yeah, it sucked, but like I said, it's entertainment business, and like the show is not going to stop if one person's gone. It just keeps rolling, dude.
Okay. With that said, guys, I want to say thank you, both of you joining. I had a great time. You want to let the fans know where they can check out all the latest updates for your guys' musical careers and what else that you guys may have going on?
Plug them, Ethan.
Check our socials and check our websites that are going to be redesigned here very shortly.
Okay.
BobbySteveson.com, EthanCarl.com, and our social media is under the same name. So I appreciate you having us, Justin. It was great to meet you.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Maybe after the release, maybe we can get you guys back on here. We can talk more about country music.
Oh yeah, we'll be right back, man.
Let's
We
do
got
it.
like 2 months. You'll see us. We'll see us. You'll see us again.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys. I'll see you soon.
All right, guys. We'll see you.